So what exactly do people with depression want you to know? Hi, my name is whatever the hell you want to call me, Eusebius Coliano, whatever the fuck you want to call me. I legitimately don't give a shit. Anyway, people with depression experience many symptoms ranging from hopelessness all the way to extreme guilt and shame. Depression is categorized by a feeling of depressed mood. Depending on how intense it is and how long it lasts, differs between people and depending on those factors, it depends on what kind of depression you have. For example, if you have a long lasting low intensity depression, then it's going to be dysthymia, or I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, or high functioning depression as some people call it. But what people with depression want you to know is a lot more simple than you would expect. So let me give my credentials if you want to know. My name, I already said my name, but I've experienced a great number of stress in my life. I've experienced mental hospitals, not once, not twice, but 3 times. And I've also endured horrible depression and negative symptoms of my psychosis. Negative symptoms are symptoms that take away from what you should have, for example, lack of motivation and depression. And that is what I wanted to get into, because sometimes people with depression don't necessarily act in a way that people without depression would. And I realize that that's very obvious, but it's something that is a bit it's a bit not as understandable as some people may like to say. So, people with depression aren't lazy. They're not lazy. Sometimes when you have depression, you just become exhausted and you don't have any energy to do much of anything. Sometimes people with depression don't even feel the need to get out of bed. No, they do feel the need to get out of bed, but they don't have the energy to get out of bed. They know that they have to get out of bed, but it's just so hard for them. And one of the things that really helps somebody when they're going through but when they're going through a event where they feel incredibly unmotivated, they don't want to hear people saying, oh yeah, I know what it's like to not get out of bed, but I still get out of bed, so just get out of bed. Stuff like that is very invalidating, and it's something that I talked about in other videos in the past. But what people with depression want to hear is, I understand, I empathize with you, I put myself in your position, and I understand, how can I help you? Because when somebody with depression is suffering with symptoms and nobody even notices, that can make it so much worse. It can make it seem as if you are alone. And I know what that's like. People with depression experience not only lack of motivation, but a sense of hopelessness. And that's when talk therapy can be very beneficial for someone. Talking with somebody who does not have the same problems as them can really affect somebody in a positive way. And sometimes it doesn't even have to be therapy. Sometimes it's just talking to a friend. Sometimes it's just talking to maybe a teacher or a parent or a guardian figure. Whatever it may be, somebody who does not have the same problems, who is able to empathize with you, is always a good option to turn to. So, that was a little bit of a short video. Happy Good Friday to everybody out there if you're watching this the day it's uploaded. But some final words of advice. Don't invalidate people. I realize the irony in that sentence, but try your best to not invalidate people. Because when somebody's experience is taken and it's flipped on its head and is dismissed as if it's not important, it can be really hurtful. So do your best to try and understand what the other person is going through, and do your best to try and move forward. Because that's the one thing that we all need to do. We need to move forward. I've experienced some very embarrassing things last night, and there's no possible way I could go back in time. I just have to keep moving forward. So, hope you all enjoyed watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Ahuyo, malama pono.